The first thing you gotta do, make a motion to accept the agenda. Let's make a motion to accept it, or
Okay,
not accept it, whatever.
I, Argel Ortiz, make a motion to accept the agenda for the meeting.
Okay. Yay,
Somebody could second it.
nay.
I second.
Oh, yeah. Second the motion.
Discussion on the motion.
Discussion on the motion?
The discussion of the motion.
Is there any discussion?
Any discussion about the motion?
The only question,
No?
we
Okay.
don't have the minutes from last meeting? Isn't that how it goes? Oh, we're not gonna do it that way anymore. Usually we read the minutes from the last meeting.
We'll figure it out
Well,
together.
you're gonna wait to see how he's gonna do it.
Okay,
But
okay,
Chair.
okay. So therefore, all in favor, say aye. Oh, I'm sorry, Caesar, that's your part. Go ahead. Go
All
ahead.
in favor say aye.
Aye.
Nay.
Aye.
Abstention.
So this-
I,
Discussion we already had, so it passed. Okay, so we have a presentation from Juan Saldana.
Because they have new people.
I know, I'm trying to get.
Move forward, right? Move forward, right?
Okay, I apologize,
Can't wait to
everybody.
get to.
So we gotta do introductions, you gotta introduce yourself, you got a couple of new people. So for here, let's say your name, where you're from, and favorite thing about the community.
All right. My name's David. As I said, I'm from Vermont. Favorite thing about the community, there's so many things. The amount of community gardens is really awesome. The food is really good. My dad's from El Salvador. I got Salvadoran food here, a few blocks away. I think the best Salvadoran food in New York City. So I'll go with those.
my name is Mosa. Where I'm from in terms of the organization, or where I'm from, period.
Oh, from
Whatever you wanna share.
Yeah, whatever you want to share.
Oh, South Bronx Unite, from the Bronx. Everything I like about the Bronx. I don't know, the culture, the people, it's home. Yeah. Anything. I'm all for it.
Very good. Very good. Okay, hi, everybody. My name's Argelia Ortiz. You just call me Argie. We wanted to tell you what we like about the area.
Yes.
Well, actually, I have lived here all my life, okay? And I have traveled a lot, but this is home. And home sweet home. That's all I can say. So I've seen it go from burn down to all kinds of changes. But the biggest lesson I learned, when it was burned down as a teenager, we learned to help each other out. Okay, we went beyond all that, and we're still trying to go beyond all that. So that's why I guess I love all the people here tonight who are from the Bronx.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I'm Anthony Jordan, I'm the district manager to the board. I'm a Bronx long-lived resident. I was to a small stint in Harlem. I got sent back home. No, I didn't get sent back home. I came back home to the Bronx. I love it. Both my professional and personal career here. And I am happy to serve as your DM for the past 2 years after 20 plus year of public service. I want to remind everybody that our meetings being live broadcast on our YouTube channel and our social media feeds, and we want to welcome you guys to the meeting today. Thank you, Chair.
My name is Juan Saldana with the Department of Sanitation, the Office of Community Affairs. Not from the Bronx, I'm from Manhattan, but I did go to high school in the Bronx. So thank you for welcoming me, and I hope to provide some very insightful information for you guys.
Ambrose.
Hello, Mr. Ambrose. I'm glad you made it. Very good.
Introduce yourself, Ambrose. Your name, favorite thing about the Bronx.
Favorite thing about the Bronx?
Yeah, what your name.
To the sanitation or to the?
No, in general. In general, favorite.
The Bronx is the best place to be.
So it's room for improvement.
Of course, always.
Y'all should have been here before when 30th Avenue L was still creeping down. The map is, open up the book.
We'll do introductions first, sir.
Oh, my name's Summer Francis. Okay, when LaGuardia was mayor,
What's your favorite thing? Where you from? And what's your favorite thing about the Bronx? Or wherever you're from?
well, the Bronx is the only part of New York City that's connected to the mainland, number one. It's the only part of New York City is above sea level. Manhattan, Long Island, which is 4 counties, and Staten Island, all below sea level. And when CERT, as Community Emergency Response Teams, came up here to Bronx after Sandy to show you how to survive, that fact was brought to life, Then all of a sudden, boom. They brought him up there after Katrina, then Sandy here.
No,
And you got, yeah. I
uh,
went to some of those meetings, and they talking about how you must have a leave bag. One they had, because you don't have telegram all that stuff. We also, they said something else very interesting. Have an address where the family can gather together. There's some place where you can meet or higher ground. I'm glad I live in the Bronx. It's above sea level.
Best place to be. What is it?
So, we're gonna start.
Chocolate?
It's a presentation by Juan Saldana.
Thank you.
Mr. Francis, would you like a cookie?
No,
Yeah, so I'm going to cover a couple of things, well, 3 things. I'll start with the composting, curbside composting collection. It already started October 6th, but I'll go over a quick overview of that. Then the residential containerization requirement. Then the last thing is just a quick thing, which is business owners cleanliness violations as far as the sidewalk area. It's going to be for any repeated offenders, the fines will double. So within a 12-month period, if they get a second infraction, it'll be double the amount. And I'll go over everything in a few moments. So I'll start with the composting.
Okay.
So this is applicable to all residential buildings of any size. It doesn't matter the size, they're required to compost. Set out is the night before your scheduled recycling day. So since it's in the container, you can put it out 6 p.m. for the next day's collection, and that coincides with the recycling day. You can use any bin as far as it doesn't exceed 55 gallons, and it has to have a fitting.
For the compost.
Right, secure fitting bin. Now, you could register for a free one on our website. That should arrive hopefully 2 to 3 weeks, and then the program already started.
I got one from that. A free one.
So 55 gallons is the maximum. If you decide to buy your own, if you opt to get the free one, that one's like a 13 gallons, a smaller one.
The brown one, right?
And of course, you could use any plastic bag, because we recommend that you line it with a plastic bag just for cleanliness.
Yeah, otherwise, yeah.
The secure lid will suppress the smell, especially the winter won't be an issue come summer.
Summer, yeah.
It's a whole different ballgame. You could use, depending if you live in a multi-dwelling building, it depends on management. If they want to decide for you to bring it down in a bag, that bag could be placed inside of a bin on your own or whatever they decide to do. Plastic bags of any kind you could use. The difference here is with yard waste. Of course, this would be for single family homes. Any yard waste that you can keep in a clear bag and put it at the curb. Food product has to go inside the bin. Even though you're placing it in there in a bag, don't put it outside the bin. Food product only. Yard waste, you can of course keep it at the side.
If we put the clear bag into the composting, right? Can we tie it up? Leave it in there or put it out?
You can leave it in there, yeah. Because once the guy's down the other key thing with that, you have to bring it out towards the curb. Once it's at the curb, the guys would just empty out that bag.
And put it back.
And
now, will that be stolen? Because I just ordered a $60 one. And I'm afraid that can disappear.
Right, that could be an issue. If it gets stolen, of course, report this to the police.
And then you got to order another one.
That's another thing. You might have to buy your own at that point. We'll just report it to the police and hopefully it turns up. You could write your address information so that if it does appear, that's the only option right now that we have based on that. Now going with, let's see here, right? Of course, any clear bags, paper bags, biodegradable bags could be used. Let's see here. And I think that's as far as that. Any questions you may have, of course, feel free. Now, enforcement, there is a 3-month warning period for the yard waste. So right now, it does pertain to yard waste.
What you call yard waste?
Yeah, leaves.
The leaves. Oh, the leaves.
Things
Okay.
like that. That's yard waste. So come spring 2025, that's what fines will be issued for food product mixed in with the regular trash.
How are they going to check that?
we're gonna have to look.
Okay, let's have the questions at the end, so.
Okay.
Sure, so yeah, let me just
All right,
cover
go ahead,
everything.
go ahead, go ahead.
Everybody gets a chance.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I'll be more than happy
Sorry.
to. So enforcement, 3-month warning period, again for yard waste. Come spring 2025, food scrap mixed with paper fines will, mixed with the garbage, fines will be issued based on that. Now I'm moving over to the residential containerization requirement. So this is effective November 12th. All residential buildings with 1 through 9 units, schools, houses of worship, and special use buildings receiving Department of Sanitation collection will be required to containerize their trash. And as a matter of fact, I think the flyers were meant to.
Yeah, we.
Yeah, I just told you that they all have information.
So you can use a bin of 55 gallons or less with a tight fitting lid. Do not need the official bin until June 2026. This has created a lot of confusion. The bin is, you can get it now if you wish. There's a vendor via our website that you can access. I can give you the information for the vendor.
For the black bag, for the black.
This particular bin right here.
What's going on?
Oh, it's not needed to 2026?
So, and again, this applies to residential properties 1 through 9 units. Beyond 9, it stays the same until further notice. So 1 through 9, this bin right now, you could purchase it, but it's not required until June 2026. So right now, you could buy your own, 55 gallons maximum or less, depending on, size depends on how much trash you generate that you will require it. But of course, it is cheaper to buy this one as opposed to Home Depot, even Walmart. They're a little bit more expensive. So the two options is a 45 gallon, $53, and then a 35, which I roughly believe is $43 in price, not including tax and processing fee. So that's to the vendor. So the information here, if you have a QR scanner on your phone, it links you right straight to the website where you can inquire about the bins. When you reach the website, you will notice they have recycling bins and also a composting bin, official ones. That created another confusion with people. Oh my God, we're required to get those too, but that's not the case. That's another item that you can buy, but are not required. The requirement for this one would be June 2026, but you can get your own. Back to the composting that I didn't mention. So let's say you opt to get your own composting bin. You can reach out to us to get a decal, a composting decal that you can affix to that bin, indicating that one's for composting. So that collection crew know they see this bin, they don't think there's anything else other than composting. Okay. So then let's see here. When the mandate goes into effect in November 12th, it will only affect regular trash. Recycling can be set out in clear bags. It's not recommended. You can keep it in the container, but cannot be placed curbside after 8 p.m. for the recycling. This can be stored inside of the building, side yard, or backyard. If no other space is available, the bin can be stored along the building line as long as it doesn't create any obstruction or impede pedestrian traffic. So within 3 feet of the property line, if you opt, with some people have inquired about an enclosure, that has to be approved by the DOT to get the proper permits for the sidewalk to create a bin.
Oh, the bin on the side,
You
okay.
can keep the bin there as is. That could be an issue. So you have something that you can tie it to or fix security. You
Just
can
take
do
it
that.
off the
Just keep in mind, you have to untie it and bring it down to the curb collection then, and then secure it back. You have till 9 p.m. the day of collection to bring it back and secure it again. And again, enforcement for this particular situation, warning period through the end of 2024, and then January 2nd of 2025. Residential properties 1 through 9 that are not doing the proper thing with this container has to have a secure lid and not exceed 55 gallons. Fines will start for that. Until the end of this year, it'll be just warnings that will be issued. Okay. And any questions, please feel free.
Is that what the presentation?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wait, I'm so sorry. One last thing before I forget. So, and I think I briefly mentioned it, and this is the last thing. This is a brief thing. So this is for repeated offenders, for business owners that are not properly cleaning their sidewalk area. So the first infraction, $50. Second time it ups all the way to $300.
What?
And then a third plus is $500. So just any business owners here that just keep this in mind.
That doesn't apply to private owner, right? Private private owner. Just business?
Businesses, just business. No, not for the containerization requirement. That concludes my presentation. So any questions? please
So we're
feel free.
gonna start from A.
Cool.
You don't have any questions or anything? You can say, I don't have any questions.
Yeah, I've got a few composting questions.
Sure.
So first, I know with the orange bins, right, a lot of that was going to the Newton Creek anaerobic digester, right?
The orange.
The orange compost bins.
The smart bins.
The smart
ones
bins.
that you can access.
Yeah.
Right.
So with the curbside composting, do you know from this district where that's going to go?
So what the composting, once it's collected, where does it go?
Yeah.
Two facilities. There's one in Staten Island. Let me see. Let me provide. Let me see here. 1 second. Let's see. So one is the Newton Creek water treatment plant.
Yeah.
And the second one is one of our own Staten Island composting facilities.
Okay.
So I have my card. So if you need precise locations, because I can look it up. This is on our website also.
Okay. Well, yeah. No, I know the Newton Creek one.
Okay.
It's the anaerobic digester, the big, and the Staten Island is composting, like more traditional, right? I'm pretty sure.
So you're speaking about the facility or?
Yeah. So with the smart bins, again, my understanding is that once I got taken up, right, it's taking like meat scraps. There's like those things that normally you couldn't put in just like a backyard compost bin because you would trap rats, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So they brought them to Newton Creek, which is anaerobic digestion. So they shove them all in and use them as biogas, as opposed to making them into soil. And I believe at Staten Island, they're making them into soil.
Okay.
Right. So
I would have to look into that.
So
I know the facilities, what the process that goes in place there. I will have to get back to that.
So I'm curious if we would know from our district, where that compost, whether it's going to Newton Creek or whether it's going to Staten
I will
Island,
have to get back
because
to
that is a big distinction on what's actually happening to the food scraps.
Okay.
Right.
I know.
Yeah. So if you can find out that.
Oh yeah. I'll give you my card.
Yeah. That'd be awesome. Cool. Sorry, I have a second question.
Okay.
So I would love to get my building to start to do the curbside composting. Anthony was at my building last night. He knows that our manager they are not very well organized. So how would you recommend I go about getting them to? And we have, keep in mind, 12 floors. There's a reuse like room in each floor.
Right.
So in theory, it would be like 12 bins, one for each floor.
So they're required to do it. They are training sessions, virtual, that they can actually join on our website. And I could provide that to you. There's links that I would have to send to you, where they could
share with the board, and the board will share with us.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
So the building are required. Now, by default, when we start enforcing, fines that come about, they're going to want to be last minute jump into the game, and they should start a process now so like that they're not playing catch up. So through outreach, even just present to them like, hey, you guys can join us for your staff to learn how to properly set this up within your building. So it's going to be in their best interest to do it.
Okay, cool. So you think I should just be like, hey,
you can start up by just the flyers, like, listen, this is required. Set the building on my own building. It's not set up, and I work with sanitation, so it's a conversation I have to have with my super and get them up to speed. But it's something. That's why there's that warning period.
Okay.
So
when are the fines starting?
Spring 2020.
Oh man.
The residential will be January. That container requirement.
Okay.
But they have until then.
All right.
This week.
Cool.
Oh, well.
So which mean I just want to make it clear, the black bag, as of January, we can still put a black bag out if we choose to.
If it's the residential property of 1 through 9 units,
right?
No. It has to go in a container with a secure lid. No more bags curbside.
As of January of this year,
as of November 12th.
As of November 12th.
Yeah. Right now, you can still put your bag out, but come November 12th. Container.
Anymore.
And you can put it out after 6 instead of 8 like you do now.
Now another question: until the when you guys come in the morning to do the ticket, right? What's the time limit?
So that what you're describing is residential and commercial.
No, I mean residential. I'm not
Okay,
commercial. I'm
okay,
talking
so
residential.
residential routing hours is 2 hours per day, Monday through Sunday. The hours depend on usually primarily 8 to 9, and then 6 to 7 usually, but it depends on your address and information. You can
No,
look
what
that up.
I'm saying is that when your guy comes out
Right.
to see if there's a garbage or whatever from the house,
Right.
that time vary from area to area.
So it depends on the infraction. Okay, so just to simplify. So Monday through Sunday, there's 2 hours per day that we're gonna be looking at for sidewalks. If there's papers and debris, that infraction, those 2 routing hours.
Mhm.
If we see paper that the property owner or manager is supposed to think, that could be a summons.
So
Any other infraction.
When you say 2 hours,
Mhm.
right? When is the cutoff time? And the reason I'm asking these questions, I'm going to lead to another question too,
Okay.
because I've seen on my camera,
Right.
the guy will come in at 9 o'clock, wrote the ticket in front of my building. First of all, do you supposed to ring the doorbell before you put a ticket on?
So they do. They're supposed to ideally to.
Oh, no. When you say ideally, is it a rule that it must be done, or is it by choice?
They should, given
should.
that they have access and go and ring on your
Oh,
door.
yeah,
Absolutely.
okay.
Yeah.
Because these
Sure.
are the things that the community is not aware of.
Okay.
And I think we need to make sure the community is aware of those simple rules that we all become a victim, because the sanitation is holding those information as a personal information, and the only people that know are the ones that write the ticket. The guy coming from my house at 8 o'clock, wrote a ticket, came back at 12 o'clock, stick it on my door.
Okay.
You understand me?
I got you.
He wrote a ticket in the morning, came back at 12 o'clock to stick it on the door.
That's something we need to know.
That's what I'm saying to you right now.
Absolutely.
These are things that we are battling with the court system.
But when did this take place?
This was last year.
Yeah.
I beat that case in court. But how
right.
many people have a chance to do that? I have a neighbor, old man. They always pay them,
Right.
because he can't be going back and forth.
Any situation, and then I'm sorry to cut you off. We need to know about it in order to take action.
We need to. I think that, and there's an old building in front of me, my house. They always come and go straight there. Just keep doing those things. We are asking the sanitation to tear the building down, the city, because it's gonna be a problem. So these are the rules that I think that we should have. All the 12 community board must have those rules, so we know it shouldn't be something that we had to stumble into it to know those things exist.
Going back to what you mentioned about placing the summons on your door.
Right.
So that is something, because since it's being placed on your door, yes, a knock, if someone answers.
But your rule says that the guy write a ticket, ring the doorbell first. Before he write a ticket.
The objective also is to educate right then and there.
Right.
This is done improperly. This is the way to do it.
Right.
Unfortunately, if it's something that's repetitive, and a warning was already provided, or a summons was issued and happens again, and a summons could be issued based on that. But that's based on the judgment of the officer there. So ideally, you want to educate. So going forward, it doesn't happen anymore.
Do sanitation has a warning paper?
Yes, they can issue a warning, even verbally.
No, well, verbally is either you say, "Oh, nobody was there,"
Right,
but what I'm trying to say here is that, and these are things that, Mr. Chair, I think we need to really emphasize on this thing, because again, the community become a victim of not knowing what they're supposed to know. If sanitation they have a warning on paper, I'd rather they put a warning on my door for something that is the first time that I wasn't aware of it.
Okay.
With the website or something, I can go learn more about it to be educated. If you can stay there to wait for me, right? Now,
So
a guy comes in, a guy walk in front of the door of somebody's house, just sees because he needs to write a ticket, right? It's on leisure, just write anything. But in the rules is that you ring the doorbell first to tell me that you're supposed to clean your sidewalk for the first time.
But there's variables. What if you're not home? And the officer has to continue doing
If you don't
his
ring the
job.
doorbell, how would you know? I was home actually that day that he did that.
Again, it's a scenario.
No,
present.
I'm just
Right,
saying,
right.
you
But
understand
I'm
me,
just trying
right?
to explain to
in.
you,
Mhm.
there's variables. Maybe they knocked on your door. Maybe you weren't home. Maybe you were preoccupied with something within your home and they kept it going and came back to basically, put the summons back, which they shouldn't have done. They should have applied it right then and there.
I think that one of the things that I mean to cut you, and the reason I try to emphasize on this kind of thing is that I don't think anybody in the neighborhood has an intention not to clean or not to do certain things.
Okay.
And I do not think that is be fair for the city to choose to just write a summon without educating. Because a lot of times you don't really know. You telling me right now, even on this black bag right now, I was just talking to a friend last night in White Plains Road. He went on board all these things at Home Depot, not knowing that he could have got a composting one at would have requested and get it. So I think the city needs to make a little effort and educate community before to start making money off of it.
Part of the reason I'm here and my colleagues, we're covering all community boards through all the boroughs, with the exception of Brooklyn and Queens, because they've had their programs launched. But Manhattan, Bronx, Staten Island, we're out there. We're trying to disseminate this information to educate people. But the effort is there. It's just, can we reach everyone?
No,
Maybe.
but maybe I would think that Bronx Net, those programs, we should create those programs on is it BronzeNet and all those programs?
Social media, we're basically
really, because I feel really bad that we as a community taxpayer are becoming a victim of things that we don't know about, and we're learning this after you. And the second thing, I don't mean to cut you. Second thing, your court on 161st Street. When you give you someone, you have to go to court, right? Now the system also is such that it's not very. You have to learn it while you go there. They give you a summon. You go there, and they tell you they were supposed to call 3 days ahead of time to get us to get.
But that's overhearing. That's something that's not.
This is part of it. These are city agencies that I think that sometimes the city should also work with the communities to making sure that
100%.
we are a team to achieve a good result. Because frustration. I mean, we're already going through a lot of situations, but you gotta go add this again, I do. So
now, with another thing to reaching out to a certain demographic, there's some individuals that don't even have a computer. They're old school. Sometimes we might not get to them unless through mail correspondence. And then if they mix it in with junk mail, they'll never know. So it's a lot of barriers, but we're trying to at least get that word out. That's why physically I'm here to make sure that this gets out. Any clarity, any questions you may have. That's what I'm here for.
I guess a general question, as I rent, I don't have property. Is this the responsibility of my landlord? Oh,
Yes.
okay. So I don't have anything to worry about. I just want to make sure.
Nope.
Okay.
If you own your own home, then it'd be a different
Okay.
ballgame.
Yeah, I have several questions. First question is, okay, my understanding is sanitation is gonna be giving out fines and summonses upon the bins not being used the way they should be according to the.
You're talking residential containerization or the composting? Which one?
Well, I guess, residential and
Okay.
composting.
Okay, so
right?
So basically for composting, there's a 3-month warning period for yard waste right now. Spring 2025, that's what fines will start for food scraps mixed in with the trash. So that's spring for composting, spring 2025, nothing. Containerization requirements for residential properties is 129, warning period until the end of this year, 2024, and then January 2nd, 2025, and that's when the fines will start. If you're using the wrong container.
Okay, so that part I understand, but it's gonna be sanitation to be giving out these fines.
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay, I have a main question, and my concern is, I help out I'm part of my community garden. We're the Rainbow Garden, right here on Melrose.
Right.
We've been doing composting and those things long before it took effect, ever since last year. There is a lot of vandalism around there, and by the time we sweep around there every day. Every day we clean and we sweep and put the garbage where it belongs. By the time, especially when the school kids come out, but not only the school kids, people walk around there. It's a street level garden, so they throw garbage and all kinds of things, okay? And interesting enough, I wish they could be fined. Even the situation that we have going on with, this is going back over to old business. I am advocating for, the situation with the dogs is outrageous. I wish sanitation could give them a fine also. And we have the bags for you to pick up your dog poo, and because that's the law, actually. People pass, and this is all over this district. The other day I was on Morris Avenue from 149th Street on up into one. It was raining. I had to literally speaking tiptoe to not get all that mess on my feet. But I remember when I've lived here all my life. And I remember a point in time where they were so strict that if a person didn't pick up after their dog, sanitation used to come, and not only would they give them a fine, they had a right to pound that dog. Because there was a rule, a very strict rule about that. So I wonder if that could be enforced. And we have signs up. People know they're not ignorant. We've got signs up. We have the bags. We have the posts with the bags provided so they could pick up. And it's just outrageous. So I wish that law could be enforced. So I love the way the compassing and the rule is coming about putting your trash in the right kind of recycling bins and so forth. But I think that we can't go to letter B when we haven't finished letter A.
I got you.
See, so I wish, what can I do to help sanitation enforce
So
that?
as I mentioned, to Ambrose, correct?
Yes.
If we don't know, we do monitor areas, especially hotspots. If, for example, outside of the community garden, if the pedestrian littering is an issue, you have to let us know. We monitor. Now, another option, if it's a extreme hotspot where people are just dumping left and right, through your local council member's office, they actually have funding that they could provide, funding for surveillance cameras. On Vice and Friedman, not too far from here, they actually set that up because for years in and out, there was just a lot of illegal dumping happening there. So that's an option. An actual camera that if it's happening from a vehicle, we get the plate and we will definitely look out for the vehicle. Another thing is, of course, 311 just reported right away. I'm going to provide you both with my card.
Thank you. I was going to ask
So
for the
you can just
information.
reach out to me, let me
Great.
know, and I will notify the local district. Here you go, son.
Great. So I could email you too and let you
Yeah, so you
know
can,
what are some of the areas that are most vulnerable. And that's great. Thank
all right.
you for
So yeah, so anything like that, let me know. That's my direct extension. I just
Okay.
crossed it out because it was the main number.
Okay.
Let me know what's going on, because there's a gentleman in Bison Freeman. He's actually from San Diego, has property there in that area, and he would actually just call me all the time. I'm there for
Okay.
that. Just let me know, and I'll do my best to.
I am going to
stay
be
on top.
doing that because another thing that I'm concerned about, now I live in a residential building. So I don't think individually I'm similar to you. But of course, the landlords are the ones that have to take care of that. I rent my apartment, everything. However, one thing that I have noticed is, although the landlords have been responsible to put the things in the proper receptacles, that 5-cent bottle collectors, the people who come in the morning to collect the 5-cent deposit cans, they will turn the whole garbage over, okay, to get their, because they're going to make their money, I guess, to get their 5-cent cans and 5-cent bottles and leave it that way. Okay, and I know that this is happening in some of the private houses too. I've seen some of the private people will come if they see a bin out there. They come at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the morning with their shopping carts. They're going to make their 5 cents one way or the other. I have literally speaking seen them. I mean, that's caused so much chaos, and getting there to get their bottle, their 5-cent deposit, and I have literally seen them turn the whole garbage over and leave it there and leave it like that. They're going to get their 5-cent cans and bottles and keep going. Now the person who is going to the property owner, let's put it that way, is going to get fined. You see what I'm saying? That I'm
I got it.
understanding what
So-
Ambrose is saying.
Right. So
You know.
another thing that is beneficial, if you report this via 301, you get a reference number for the request. When it comes to the oath hearing division, where you kind of either dispute this summons, they see that you reported this, that someone scavenging through your stuff, that it wasn't deliberately your neglect.
Okay.
There's up to a mediator or judge to dismiss it, lower the amount of the infraction, because ultimately property owners, managers, they're responsible for that sidewalk area. If you're a property owner, you see people constantly scavenging through it, I wouldn't recommend like the right confrontation, but we should know about that. So then we can sit in an unmarked car and wait for them and cash them in the act. Because all these things are actionable acts that we have to see it happen in order for us to take action.
I see. Well, no, that is very true. And of course, this is my last question now, but of course, a main concern that I think everyone in district shares, that 149th Street area,
Yeah.
that's outrageous.
I walked.
You have
the train
to, I
station,
think
saw the- that
sanitation has
corridor.
their work cut out for
Yes,
them there.
and we were aware of that.
Especially when the rule came of putting things in the bin, because that's already in effect. But now the bins are overflowing with garbage. It's outrageous. You know, even like during the summertime, I remember I didn't even want to walk there because it even smells, the holes. I mean, it stinks there, it does. I just don't want to be graphic here, but the truth is that it's disgusting, you know, and the business owners, they've got these overflowing bins of garbage. What's going to be done about that?
So
How
that right there is, it's a combination of, if these baskets are being, of course, people just, they're overflowing, frequency of collection has to increase. Monitoring and making sure that the property owner is also maintaining the sidewalk. But again, that happens between 2 hours per day that we're gonna go out there and enforce that. We're not doing it throughout the entire day. If there's something else that we're inspecting and we see something like that, yeah, we report it, we make note of that.
I see.
But it's 2 hours per day for commercial and the residential.
I see.
So it's not
My understanding from speaking to some of the business people there is that sanitation is not collecting enough.
right. The frequency might need to be increased.
Okay.
What would be the reason why there's no frequency increase in a business area?
Again, what's in place now, I'll look into it with the
Well,
local district.
The reason I ask this question is that comparatively
That's a good question.
with Harlem or any other business places,
Right.
we're getting the short end of services.
Okay.
I can open my phone now. I can show you picture of those garbage that doesn't really get regularly attention.
Okay.
That let's don't blame somebody. Sanitation is skipping.
Okay.
Sanitation does do the skipping, and I'm very attentive to do, especially on the 149th Street corridor between 3rd Avenue and Morris Avenue. We walk out here right now. We walk down on the right-hand side.
All right.
You will not miss a pack of garbage right there.
Okay.
Even in a building that does not have is close of business. It was my understanding in this part that sanitation came and told us they have one service that goes around maybe the second time just to pick empty those canister. It's not happening.
Oh,
It's not happening.
so with something like that, definitely contact me directly. Let me know of any particular corner baskets that you see chronically overflowing,
Mhm.
so then I can relay that to the local district.
But my question would be, the question is the people that are supposed to be doing it, that goes out with those trucks. Can they tell us why those are being skipped or not being done? Because we were told here by sanitation, there is a service that goes around daily to do those. So
Like
are
the
they
business
just
improvement district
well?
personnel
No,
is that set up here or no?
Yeah, it's a bit there.
There is, okay, now.
But
Yeah, there's a business, if I may chair.
Yes.
Are you?
No, go ahead.
So to add to the business improvement district, and if I can be leveraged to I have several questions that you want to go first, Chair?
Well, I usually go last.
Okay, so there's several questions that we have. First of all, sanitation, thank you for coming out, Supervisor. Sanitation is an enormous, important issue for our district. I have one question in the chat, then I'm gonna go to the questions I have.
Sure.
It says garbage was picked up very late today in the area in our district where the excuse we got was that if they were backed up. What does that mean?
That they were backed up. That could be some sort of delay in the route. Construction maybe prevented the truck from running that particular route. Could be a lot of things. But something like that, the insight would be more with the local district superintendent, which I could be a liaison to.
Right. So we have an amazing relationship with the superintendent.
Okay.
He's extremely cooperative, and he's or communicable with us as we make requests. But talking to where our chairs, the vice chair and our chair is talking about, the South Bronx, unfortunately, is in lack of resources compared to equitably to other districts outside the borough of the Bronx. I want to be fair to that reality, and that, like, unfortunately, requests for increased resources, like when there's opportunity when things are backed up, like we look at the second most populated or used commercial district, second to only Times Square, gets a lack of resources other non-commercial residential areas in Manhattan and other places. It is definitely I don't want to say prejudice in some sense, but I have no other better choice of words in my head that says that why do you not want to dedicate resources, especially to a heavily trafficked commercial district? And you look, and I know that it's a mixed responsibility. We have taken a responsibility to know that it is part of education, plus enforcement, plus actually resources that needs to be dedicated to the district. We have taken a position, this community board, that sanitation. If you wake up in the morning, you get out, you walk to the train station, go to work, wherever, and you don't have a clean area, it has an impact on your mental health. It has an impact on your day. It has an impact on who comes in and comes to visit your home, or who shops in your area. It has an impact definitely on the businesses. We know that the agency or the administration is aware that we have an unfortunate unlicensed vending issue. There's several ways that we're working, hopefully, with our elected officials to resolve those issues. Legislation to allow more licensed vendors, more education so vendors can be able to distribute, and enforcement so that illegal dumping can be actually investigated and be penalized. But then lastly, resources. More manpower, or frequently more opportunities where things can happen, where tours can be made to make sure they keep up with the unfortunate pieces happening. We also have a bunch of unhoused brothers and sisters who are in the street, and so that contributes to, like our members talked about, where they're even rummaging through the garbage for recyclables, or either do food or whatever the issues unfortunately that happens. And so we're pleading that you take back, and we are having a conversation and a plan tour with Commissioner Tisch to look at the reality of the district and how that impacts, like, the mental health of our community. And it's the basic sanitation.
Right.
Together with that, our community has taken the bull by the horns on this issue and have instituted several cleanups. But when asked from Central, not from our superintendent, but from Central, for additional resources, like to have a sweeper come when we close up the street and there's no parking in certain areas, and we have a street sweeper come in and really get a good job of cleaning the room sweep, the answer was no. And so when we talk about when decisions are being made and requests are being made, first decisions are being made, and then we're being turned down, as if we are just asking for more than what is needed. It's unfortunate that collaboration of attitude is not taken on what the South Bronx truly needs for our ability to have set standards in our district, but also have a come up from what we're growing up from the ashes of the 80s and the 70s so long ago. So the message, and I know that we talked about this, is not that we want to be cooperative with the compost piece, we want to be cooperative with the piece, but we also need the resources and partnership that says that when we make requests to our superintendent, or we make requests to Central or to our borough chief, that those resources are kindly looked upon before immediately. Because my understanding, there is not a manpower or a shortage in manpower in the department, is it?
Well, not, some departments were affected, cleaning particularly, but the local district is something that has to be discussed and see what resources they might be allocated elsewhere. For something else, but that I don't know operationally what's going on. That's something that I would have to speak to the district superintendent.
Right. But I actually reach out to the borough chief. I actually reach out to whether decisions are made. The superintendent can only make requests.
Right.
The borough chiefs and deputy chiefs and central makes decisions to answer those requests. So it's not to be in a confrontational connection, but it's to say that the reality that is what it is. We all, again, the community board has taken responsibility during this cleaning practice, and we were told no. So how does that? Do you know how that's evaluated when the decisions are asked for additional resources?
I'm a sponge. I'm going to relay this to my superiors. There's a concern. Yes, these are things that I'm presenting to you today, but there's something within the nitty gritty of even myself walking here. I did observe things that need improvement.
Right.
So this is something that I have to relay, and of course, then there has to be assessed and see what can be done.
From illegal dumping to the realities of what we're dealing with street homeless to what we're trying to do with our cleanups that we help to sponsor, it's important that we understand that we. And I just wanted to say that question came from our full board chair, Carissa Aliato.
Oh, okay.
But I just want to reiterate that sanitation has a lot more about it. Yes, education, but enforcement, resources, all that stuff has to be intertwined in order to really look at the environmental and sanitation issues of that. And it's actually, you take that back. Thank you, Chair.
Do you have any questions, Francis?
Herman?
Gentlemen, if you have any questions.
Yes, I want to know about that big building, that courthouse up there, 160 First Street, between 3rd and Washington Avenue. Been sitting up there for about close to 40 years vacant. And I remember when it was sold. And then the developer, he outbid a local community-based organization. Then when community-based organization tend to work with the developer, he laughed in their face and they started doing swim. But the place is filthy. When you walk down compared to the rest of the area, that particular courthouse building, the vacant one right there.
Okay.
The football. Then they talk about they want to build new police to place them up there when they made the movie for Apache Bronx. That's on the drawing board somewhere. But basically, it goes to heart.
So this is a vacant building, and the surrounding, the perimeter is a mess.
Yes. But going to these businesses, basically what we're piggybacking on them, you private developers to have these buildings up there vacant and don't maintain them so fashionable.
Right. So ultimately, there should be a property owner, someone who probably bought the property, that they have to maintain it. Unfortunately, it sounds like neglect. So it's something that we need to assess it. Most like things with a structure on it, like a building, will be more health department to look into. Perimeter, sidewalk area, of course, we can look into, and of course, it's not being maintained, we'll issue summonses and look at it that way. But if it's a vacant property, just a vacant lot, we have a division.
It's not vacant lot, the building's
No, I know, but I'm just so I can clarify. So with a structure on there, if it presents an immediate hazard to the public, you might want to call 311, especially if you have an infestation, anything like that, so then the health department can get involved. We will definitely observe any violations that we can see on the sidewalk area and address that. And if it's illegal dumping, anything there, we can address that also. But yeah, it's something that you might want to involve the health department.
Okay.
311.
One last thing. Y'all still have that policy in effect that if civilian catches somebody illegally dumping or something and so forth,
you could report it. I don't know if there used to be an incentive for that. I would have to look into that to see, because right now you definitely could report it. But there was a program, especially when I came on the department, there was if it leads to conviction and but it's a reward program. But I have to look into make sure that's still.
Well, they had some interesting stories. I used to catch when people dumping.
Right.
And how some folks have made a nice little
from a
just
vehicle.
catching them.
Once it leads to a conviction, then yes, then you get a reward. But I have to get back to you on that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I'm sorry, just a quick question. Is there any change on the violation on private owners? Is it still $25 for first violation, then 50 second and stuff like that, or this just
When you say private owner, you mean
no? I mean residential only. Yes.
like
Is
residential?
it
Yeah. This only applies those.
right? But what would be what is
I think
the?
it's 20.
It's still $25, right?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Because it used to be. I know everything went up, but I used to be
Now,
25.
also like something that you get caught illegally dumping something.
No, I'm talking about just really sidewalk
Oh,
cleaning and those things. It's still $25. Oh, okay.
Question?
Chair, thank you. I want to go back to my colleague who the Buckner residents, and they have a emerging amazing tenants association that started to get established. You talk about education that's being partnered with. Sometimes that they're working on some issues with their landlord that likely will. I mean, I know you guys hit them in the pocket, but likely will not be something that's being implemented pretty quickly. How are you? How is the DSNY working with tenant associations to encourage to educate the tenants and residents about how to do one composting, which is important, and then anything else as relates to the new buildings that are coming up in the
with
district.
things like that, like if there's a need for it, of course, you reach out to me, I'll present the situation, and we can go do anything through the community board to do presentations and things like that. That could be established. That's not a problem.
And it is something that I don't know if they want to go by and do to help with the compost because people get paid to do it, right? The maintenance people, hopefully.
Yeah, well,
so you can actually, within your building, you can actually volunteer to help them out to set up. That's something you could do if you have the time for that. You can actually do that and help the cause. Yes, right.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to master how this composting is gonna
You're
work.
in for a fact.
So meaning what the tenant will literally get the rest of the food and
So
take it
any
downstairs
food scraps,
separately?
even soil paper,
Right.
napkins, things with food product in it, you can compost. Even
right, but so you mean tenant gonna have to separate those initially before we get to that.
So there's many ways, and then I know this is gonna, for example, you can even freeze the stuff. Let's say it's the summer, you don't want to keep this food content outside of refrigeration.
Have a space.
I know, and it's something that we all have, like to put something frozen in our freezer that's already been it's food scraps. But until your collection day comes about, then you bring that down in a bag to the basement or however it's set up in your building. But yeah, there's different ways.
To be honest, especially.
I'm going to go to him first.
Okay.
Jeremy has something?
Yeah, so at Maria Sola we have a compost bin, and someone from New York Botanical Gardens brought us on behalf of the city a bunch of
The little containers.
the countertop bins.
Right.
So is there anything in the works to provide residents with countertop bins?
Not at the moment.
That would be great.
I'm sure it's something you guys have
So
discussed.
right now, either through elected officials, they might have them, they might host an event and they might give them out. But right now, the department, when we launched in Queens and Brooklyn, we were giving them out within the brown bin, but not at the moment.
Yeah, because it's going to be harder. I mean, obviously, you can use an old yogurt container, but I think you're going to get less adherence.
Right.
Fewer people are going to compost if they don't compost.
Right. I got you.
Jeremy, you have a question?
I had no question. Well, I see this mess. At one time, this was it was clean. But people don't lost their consciousness. They lost their respect to pick up behind themselves. That was the whole concept. Also, I was standing by away from the bus down there where I live at. I hear this noise. I look up, somebody's up there. What floor is that? So up there at the 7th, 8th floor in the kitchen. Dumping the whole bag, just like this, out the window. I'm walking through the housing complex. Somebody in the kitchen cooking. All they did was took the empty cans and threw it out the window on the first floor. I mean, it's a type of mess. I'm waiting for the elevator, and the elevator stopped on the floor. And I happened to stick out, see who the heck that person was. Somebody took the empty pizza box, instead of ripping them up and composed them and putting them in there, left them right there by the incinerator. And I had to tell my neighbors, look here, we do not leave garbage in the hallway or on the staircase. If you don't like it, take it up and manage it, because we don't do it on this floor. Take it on the floor you live on. I took garbage that people had dumped on the floor I live on back up to their floor right in front of their door and told them straight to their face. Don't bring it down
So
here.
something like that,
Yeah.
it's internal. So
Yeah.
management has to address that.
Yeah.
Out the window, also something that the landlord should know about with that
It's a
particular
mess.
tenant. Once it gets on the ground,
Yeah.
then we find the landlord. So that's
But then they
it.
complain about this infestation,
Sorry, you
rats,
have a question?
roaches, and everything else. And so I don't see where you come from, though, with the block association. I talked to a couple of block association presidents. They tell me when they call a meeting, they're the only one that shows up. I'm talking about block association, home association, tenant association. This person had had a meeting in 8 months, and so forth. And this is the type of mess you go. I understand what we're going. Basically, fighting the war. People refuse to do whatever they're supposed to do.
So hopefully, and we also do school outreach. In a younger age, present these programs to these children.
That's the best
To
place to start.
educate going forward, make them very mindful of this and the objective. Because the objective here, come the summertime, when as opposed to having these bags and a food source for rats, and then the stench in a container with a secure lid, the smell will be suppressed to a degree. And it's the objective to have cleaner sidewalk areas. Now you're not walking in fear of a rat jumping out of these bags or something of the sort. So that's the main it's the overall cleanliness of the city. That's the objective. It's not to implement anything new that no one is going to be comfortable doing. It's just to maintain.
But the city used to have a slogan, "A clean New York is up to you." What's that?
I'm sorry.
The city used to have a slogan, "A clean New York is up to you." I remember seeing that quite a bit. What happened to it?
I'm so sorry.
No, New York used to have a slogan, "A cleaner New York is up to you." That used to be
A cleaner New York is up to you.
Yeah.
Oh, so guys, it's different administration. Maybe that's where.
Okay.
I got a
thank
quick-
you.
Sorry,
I'm sorry.
Audrey was.
Hold on, my main question, I think I don't want to be going around in circles, but it's kind of what Ambrose was saying. We're on the same page here. I would like to know, how can the law be enforced within sanitation? Because you know, I don't want to cut you off, but when I was a kid, they were so strict, you couldn't even step on that grass. And if a person was caught throwing something out the window, they will be evicted. You see what I'm saying? I think once we do enforce the law, you will never go to Central Park, downtown there, and not pick up after your dog. Because you will get a $200 fine so fast. Okay? Why can't those park rangers, it's gonna be up to the park rangers, like go around St. Mary's Park, I'm sure sanitation goes around there, and everybody has to bind together, the park rangers, the precinct, bind together with sanitation, and I think the law, how can we get the sanitation laws enforced? You don't pick up after yourselves, you're gonna get a summons.
Well,
And when you hit people in their pockets, they start to learn.
You wake up.
These dog
it's,
walkers talk to each other.
Right.
And when they start saying, guess what, I got a $100 fine, the next dog walker is gonna know, and they'll say, uh-oh, I better start picking up.
Well, here's the kicker. It's a team effort. So dog walkers in particular have patterns. They get home from work, their dog needs a walk. We need days and time frame so we can be out there and see this in the act. So the only source that can provide that will be the public. We could be out there monitoring. We might catch the moment or miss it. But if you know this particular dog walker lives here, walks his dog at this particular time, does not clean after his pet, we could be there and catch him in the act. Once that happens, we should hopefully know better going forward. But it's something that if we're aware of it, we're out there. Again, on my car, we can sit there. We're 24/7. It doesn't matter if it's 4 a.m., 3 a.m., we could be out there, but we need to know this key information in order to take action.
Okay, it's not just one person, but I will be contacting you or emailing.
Yes.
And we're gonna form that unit, because I don't think it's just up to one, I don't think it's just up to sanitation. I think the precinct got to get involved there. There's a Department of Environmental Control that should also be involved with all that. And get that together, because some serious cleaning I think should happen. Again, going back to 149th Street, you would never go over to Park Avenue or to the stores on Columbus Circle and find that mess. So why in our neighborhood isn't sanitation picking up more frequently?
I think we don't complain.
Okay,
That's the
well,
bottom line.
okay.
We
Don't
do
vote
not
either.
complain. I walked into a park on 68th Street. I was standing there talking with a friend. We're just having a conversation. Somebody walked into the park with a cigarette. I didn't even know in a park on 68th Street that you can smoke. The regular cigarette. You could not walk into that park, but on the one on 68 between a second and third, you could not walk into that park and smoke. And it's posted. So, and the guy just walked past us, was smoking on a resident just told him you can't smoke in here. So I think we as a resident, we need to first be conscious of issue and raise a concern. We are the lowest calling 311 in this borough, in this city. So meaning what we complain to our neighbor, but we don't complain where it's supposed to go. The city run based on numbers. The more complaint that goes in, the more reaction the city will do on it. So we need to take upon ourselves and start raising issue. I think this is one of the best way we can get this, not just one
You
person
have
talking.
me, I'm all ears. You reach out to me, any pressing stuff, any clarity that you may need, please feel free.
That will be a part of the whole business, to what you're talking about.
Mhm.
Say something about the whole business stuff, but you just had a couple of questions. Like, we have one of the most public housing in all the community boards, right? So we have a lot of public housing there, and I just wanted to know the collaboration with NYCHA, what's going on there. We have a lot of issues with trash. It's also containers and not. We don't have containers on the corners in a lot of places in public housing. So why is that happening? And also,
So that would be the district superintendent. He would have more insight into that.
we have more, okay. And the other one has to do with so the My Haven Herald did an article. They were saying about the district that you don't have a lot of trash cans in this bin. So I'm not sure you read the article.
No,
Anybody read the
familiar
article?
with it.
Yeah. So the article was saying we have a lot of issues with a lot of these corners don't have trash cans. Don't have trash cans, and they mapped it out. Many other, and then they said this is like, we don't have enough for these places. That so
there's
what is being done?
Yeah, there's some
regarding that?
factors that could affect that. For example, unfortunately, household items we put inside the bins, and that's the event that you'll see the district remove that basket, because it's creating a worse situation altogether. Not saying that's the case, but that could be a scenario. If you see particularly spots that it would be a necessity, it might have been removed because of something like that.
And a couple of times I walk around and then like from 12 to 3 is pretty relatively clean. It's like here, therefore I hardly ever see the
It might be
Department of
a
Sanitation
enforcement
trucks.
routing time.
So I don't know what times they're there.
Right.
I know a lot of the trash comes in like a lot of the trash I see is around from 6 p.m. and up in the morning. But I don't see any DSNY stuff there. And then that's not a question. That's just like an observation. The other one, the question has to do with there are some businesses that are closed, and then it seems like all the businesses in other places put trash right next to the business that's closed. It's also happening in construction places. So what is DSNY doing for that, or is it not
So
your
that's
responsibility?
another actionable thing. Let us know that whoever, if it's a vacant property, has to have a landlord. So let us know, because they're responsible for either reporting or removing that. If it's a business putting that stuff next to them, that they shouldn't do that. They should already have their own carding service. So do you know the source of where is that?
So they're like different places. They have like three types. You have the one that it looks like a vacant lot, and then I think there's one over here by next to Bergen. So Bergen and 156 around there. So it's a vacant lot, and people just dump the stuff in the vacant lot, and also dump around the vacant lot.
Right. So
And that's one of them. So
Yeah,
the other one is like it looks like the business closed, but they just got it gated,
right.
and they use people put trash there.
Right.
So those two are like regular examples. The final one has to do with some schools. So I saw 2 charter schools there. Like they don't have bins or anything,
Right.
so they just throw. You see a lot of bags there on the corner. So I was trying to figure out like
Right.
who do you talk to?
Right. So no, with that, it sounds like illegal dumping. like just people dumping stuff, especially because there's a vacant business or property. To that, you could call me, report that to me, and I'll put that to the local district. So that requires, of course, we'll remove the debris if it's dumped out there, and then enforcement just to monitor to see if we can catch who's doing that.
So it's two more. One of them has to do with the composting. Do you have an estimate of how many composting locations you're going to have throughout the district, or you just whoever wants it?
When you say that, do you mean like drop-off, food
They
drop-off?
like drop-off areas.
So in this area, there's one close to a mile away. And this is the Padres Plaza Community Farm. So that's the only one that I looked at a map in the vicinity. So it looks like as outreach increases and hopefully people are participating more and more of these locations will open up because it's kind of far.
Wait, you mean compost?
Like to drop off. Like for example, let's say next month, the 28th, there's going to be an excess amount of food that people are going to have to discard. So there, a bin might not, it'll overflow, which will defeat the purpose. So you do have the option of a smart bin, but that's also another thing that's kind of near, like West Second 149, or
a bunch of community community gardens do it.
There's some that you have to contact because there's one here that doesn't accept meat product or bones and things like that.
Most of us don't accept meat because it'll attract rats in the gardens.
Right. So then there's one. The only one in the area is that the Padres Plaza.
That's the clarity too. That's why I got a little bit. I guess I'm not doing it correctly, but it's like
Can't compost.
to me, it sounded like it was gonna be not in community gardens, not in this type of places. That would be outside, where there's residential, commercial areas.
Also, as far as the composting program,
Yeah, that's
so,
what it
no, so this is basically at all residential properties within the Bronx have to now separate food product from regular trash. Regular trash would look like either diapers, animal waste, styrofoam, which can be recycled.
Well, they will have a composting, whatever you call it.
Let's say you're in the building, your building should have some system established for you to bring down your food scraps in a bag. However they decide to do it, and you put it in a bin that they should have set up. In your own home, you can order your free bin, which I believe is a 13-gallon bin. You can line it with bags, or a bag, or put your own plastic bags in there. But there's a machine ultimately that will remove that bag from the compost.
Well, are you saying that I've done composting a little bit, so there's a smell issue with the compost. So if people are not trained, put in the right compost, it has a terrible smell.
Oh no! This is not. No, we're not asking for the composting process. This is just step one: the food scrap.
That's what I meant. The food scraps is put in a container,
and you can put it in the fridge to preserve it.
That creates smells.
Right.
Because so are you saying that because I have a community garden? Mm-hmm. So it was one person that was doing composting. So what she was doing, she was giving bins to residents.
Okay.
Well, the thing that they were complaining is like when you open the thing, it also has a lot of flies.
All right. Yeah.
It has a lot of flies and it smells.
Right.
It smells like that. So then they go tell us, I'll need to know the time when I should take this out. Is it every day? Is it every 3 days? Or are they going to take it out every few days? Because that also creates smells in the lobby, because if you leave it there for too long and they put the wrong amount of scraps and eggs and things like that, it creates a smell issue.
So in the building, it solves itself by management telling you bring it down somewhere in a designated area. It's away from your residence, private home. If you have an area, backyard, you can keep it there until the night before your recycling day, which will be your composting day, and bring it out curbside. So in the building, you shouldn't, if you store it in your apartment, it will be for you to accumulate enough to bring it down, and you can freeze it. You have that option. If not, just bring it down to the basement. There shouldn't be any schedule set for that. It's like you can tell your building management should tell you, bring it down. This is a designated area for composting. Drop it in that bin. Right? Drop your bag in that bin. That's the case closed.
For me, it's different. I live in public housing. So I don't.
So how would it be different? The management has to set up something.
Yeah. Are you stating that Niger tried to start a recycling thing where with cardboards and plastic containers.
Right.
So then, and then you have this other thing that's composting. And that the key thing is education, where you can't leave scraps in your home for certain days. So I feel like, what is the education regarding those things, so people know in the public house and other places
There
like
are
that's really good.
virtual sessions, which
Yeah.
in our website, anyone can join. There's a set schedule there, so if you're available on your mobile or computer, you can join and ask away. So they'll even educate the staff, as I mentioned earlier, to how to properly set up a composting system that works for the building. Even Nitro, they can definitely reach out and join these sessions. It's on our website. And it'll break down even for building management, two separate building management, and for any citizen that just wants to go on there.
I mean, sorry, I understand that in this neighborhood, especially where I live, people don't use that as often. So do you have anything like paper-based that you actually have presentation on site where people can actually see it instead of going to a website?
It will be more, for example, if you, on your general board meeting, if they can come and we can definitely disseminate that information through that.
Okay.
If not, it'll be something virtual that they can join out of the comfort of their own home.
Okay. Yeah.
Wait, can I ask a question? I'm sorry. Because
Yeah, let it go first. There you go.
the question, okay. It's related to kind of
Yeah,
piggybacking
it's
off what
also
you're
related. So
saying.
you go ahead.
Sure?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah, just to cut, because this whole time I'm sitting here, I'm thinking about how are you going to educate people? Because this is, I'm thinking of like, what is Sanitation's campaign to educate just normal people who don't have time to come to community board meetings, don't have time to look online, don't have access.
Right.
What is the campaign? Because I know when I was growing up recycling, I feel like there was a more heavy campaign. Pictures, paper, stickers, it just seemed.
We do all of that, mailer, social media, the latest radio announcement, television, to the news. We do it all.
I haven't heard anything until I came here. Well,
I mean,
I don't know. It just seems. Yeah, I'm sorry. I mean,
No, I grew up. I've been composting since I was 3 years old. So I learned to compost when I learned to take out trash, and it like. Living in places where they don't compost regularly was like, oh yeah, wait, this isn't all second need. Like this isn't all obvious that you need to separate it like a third, like trash, recycling, compost. And I do want to second that, like I'm at a community garden and if someone wants to compost, I have to explain to them like, here's what you can, here's what you can't. There's a lot of steps. So like something maybe like a paper.
Oh no, so for example, recently I just did a shred event. So in the shred event, I actually bring a recycling. It's a decal that they can affix to the refrigerator that reminds you what goes where as far as recycling, composting, metal, plastic, and composting. So things like that we do give away.
Cool.
So we have that information. Now I didn't bring any of that to this, or just this information, but no, we do have, and when we do any outreach, we do what we do called touch a truck event at school. So even there, we're explaining recycling and composting in a simplified form, so kids can absorb it into like, oh my God, that's good for the environment and overall. So we start early age in schools just to put that word out there, and of course, anyone that doesn't have access to a computer, we do mailers to, even on the news. I know everybody from formerly heard television or radio, they're going to hear something, so it'll be quite interesting.
And just like the recycling campaign took a long time.
It took a long time.
Right. So this is
going to be a
just
process.
initial. This
is
just the beginning. And as we go along, you'll see changes to the program and adjustments hopefully being made.
I'm thrilled you guys are expanding composting. Like the food waste doesn't belong in landfills.
Right.
So.
No, it's worse for the environment. It's way worse. Once it sits on a landfill, that gases from that will affect a lot.
Well, all I wanted to say, it's really a commentary question. It would be good if we could reach out and educate the folks in our community.
Okay.
I'm still trying to find out how to do that. I'm active for my tenant association.
Yeah.
And I got to be honest with you. Look, we have 7 buildings.
Okay.
If we can get 20 people out for a tenant meeting, that's considered great. Okay? I mean, if we can get 10 people on a regular weeknight to come out to their meeting, that one day we did an experiment last holiday season. We said, it was around Thanksgiving. We said, everybody who comes out, we're going to give out a turkey to you. The room was overfilled. See what I'm saying? So people know, okay. So yeah, but I'm saying that I'm still trying to get ideas of how to have people come out for situations like this. And of course, we reach maybe 10%, but honestly speaking, there's a 90% of the people who just don't care. We're gonna throw things, this is garbage, I don't need it, and I don't care what gets done with it. I'm looking at the psychology of things.
Hopefully that's a very extreme minority. It gets to that degree where overall people participate, because that's the key.
Well, honestly, okay, I'm gonna beg to defer on that because I have been trying for a long time.
Right.
And I still don't, New York City, I love my town,
Right.
but it's one of the most loitering cities I have ever seen. I've done a lot of traveling in my life.
Yeah, New York City.
So I don't know what does it cost that lady to take that diaper from that child? I'm not even talking about dogs now, and put that in the garbage can. Okay, when the weather gets warm and everything, they sit out there, change the diaper, this, that, leave it right there. Okay, I grew up at a time where, again, if you threw garbage out the window, there were no questions asked. Tomorrow you were going to get an eviction letter. That's how strict they were. I wonder how can I get those regulations to come back? Okay, because when they stopped that, things just people throw everything out the window. Okay, and there was a point in time in history when that was, and it still is illegal. It's not that it's okay. So I'm still trying to get the question to that puzzle solved. And
we'll circle back with that because that's a nature issue. So we'll circle back with that.
It is a nature issue, yeah. Okay, but thanks for listening and thanks for hearing my questions today.
Okay, and anybody else, or we move into new business? I would
want to reiterate one thing that, and again, and hopping a little bit what the chair said, is the biggest concern about implementing this program are homeowners who are concerned about losing these expensive containers, especially some of our homeowners are fixed incomes, senior citizens, and there's no way to bolt it or chain it to anything because it has to be removable for our men and women in the DSNY to be able to dump it into the container. So we just, I know this rule is already implemented in effect, but the impact because of a non-tracking device that is being sold by DSNY is the problem. For people who are fixed incomes who own homes. I just want to bring that to your attention. Right. And I know that's not, I'm not looking for an answer, but I just know that is the issue.
No, yeah,
I'm sure you heard it some places before.
Yeah, we've definitely got, now again, this could be secure, this or another container, because this one optional right now. If you want to get it, you can get it right now, it's available. You can get your own, size varies depending on your need. It could be secured to something in front of the property line within 3 on the part, you can secure it.
But it can't be lifted. It has to be pulled to the curb. So the concern is because when we unchain it or unbolt it or whatever we have to do to wait for the men and women to pick it up, and then by the time we get back to it in the morning, to be able to bring it back into a secure location, there was concern from homeowners about it, but the theft. And I know this is a problem that likely cannot be resolved. Every new initiative starts off well with great intentions, and the kinks are worked out along the way, whether or not it's impactful or not, and depending on the administration from time to time.
As far as theft is, you can input your address information in there, report it to the police department. Hopefully that's something that's not gonna. The official bin with this logo on the side, hopefully they will refrain from touching it. Who knows? But if it gets stolen. Now, let's say we damage it during collection, we got to know, and we could actually, if it's determined, it was our fault, what would be basically free of charge with this particular bin. Not if you buy your own. If you buy your own, if you're looking for compensation, then through the comptroller's office, you can file a property damage claim through that channel. But as far as this one, you could secure it. You could build an enclosure, which will require permits from the DOT to secure it in that aspect. If you have the side repair, that's the other key thing with that.
All this, they come out with all this because they want to get rid of the rat, right?
Not get rid of them. They will always be here. It's just control that food source that we provide.
I thought that was meant idea of, because
What's
the
part
one
of it?
that
It's
Home
part of
Depot
it.
sell,
Mhm.
right, I literally chew it.
We're chewing through
Those container.
these particular.
No, not these.
Oh, okay.
The one that, because I have that, and
Okay.
I literally see the hole there that they literally chew on it.
Okay.
But I'm just hoping that this doesn't become that. But is there anything now? Is there anything the city is doing now to control for the rat issue now? Because one of the reasons that you couldn't put a garbage out, we don't want people to use these, is because when we put it out, the rat would chew on the bags and all those things,
Mhm.
feed themselves.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
So is there anything right now? And I would have thought that it would be a good idea for the city to come out with some sort of kind of something for the right, those right issue, because they're out there and the community
So
is
you
living
mean
through
as
it.
far
You
as
literally,
going right after, directly
Yeah,
after, well, the
yeah.
health department. There's actually a rat czar for the city. I don't know if
I
you
go
Well,
to
but
the
that's
Rat
probably-
Academy.
so
I have
it's
been to
really-
the Rat Academy.
And I've seen their tactics.
And there's a
They'll
rat
where they
czar.
burrow
She's very
any
good.
any trees, things like that. They'll inject, like, I don't know, I forgot
They
the
do what?
gas. Yeah, they inject like a gas or something, and then to
What?
basically flush them out
In
and
a- in a-
kill
in
them
a-
in their burrows.
In the borough. The hole
In the holes that you see.
The trees.
Right.
Usually that's where they
Yeah,
live.
but the
But
problem
there's some
is
natural
those
things that
abandoned
I use
buildings.
that repels the
That's
rats.
where the
Health
house is.
department,
That's
also
where the
health
problem is.
department, they have to be aware of that.
I once called a health department, and they came. It was on my driveway. They saw the drop in my driveway. They wrote me up. You hear what I
They
said?
saw what in
I
your.
called them
Mhm.
because there was an infestation in my neighborhood.
Okay.
A lot of it. We had a lot of abandoned buildings at the time,
Mhm.
and they came in my driveway, and they saw some rat drops. They wrote me up.
For rat droppings on your property.
Yeah, they wrote
The
me
hell?
up.
Evidence.
So I'm just telling you, with these kind of conditions, why would somebody call and complain?
But that's interesting.
I'm just telling you.
But, I mean,
Yeah. They wrote me
I
up.
don't really have an answer
No,
for
no,
that.
I'm just telling you.
Right.
You
It's,
see,
that's-
we as a community, right? We're trying to work with the city. We're trying to work together to find a resolution on things. A lot of things that the city in the office and decide
Right.
is not what apply in the neighborhood. And what apply in Staten Island is not necessarily going to apply in the Bronx here. You see? So I think that this is one of the situations that we're living through, is that it's just that they just making a decision and just don't try to understand the reality on it in the neighborhood. So that's what creates some kind of difficulty with people
No.
communicating. If I'm
the-
gonna call you and complain about something,
Right.
you just come and write and give me a summon because you see the rat drop in my
So the
driveway.
thing is that here's the thing. Overall, we have to start somewhere.
I agree.
The systems in place before, the rat population, you know how they multiply. It's extreme. We have to put a stop to it somehow, some way. It's something that, of course, people are just going to be like, oh God, here we go again, kind of thing. Here's, local government doing something that we don't want to do, but we have to start somewhere, and through outreach, and hopefully you understand where it is that we're going with this. Everyone, participation is key. We can't force anyone to do this.
No, but we want to
Well,
participate.
but my
We want to be
understanding
part.
is, now I have been to the Rat Academy. There's a Rat Academy that, by my participation in the garden, and the rat czar, she's very good. She's given me a whole lot of good ideas of things that we could do. Now, I understand also that the bin, by putting a bin on the garbage, that helps deter the rats a little bit.
Right.
But the real, some of these rats are educated rats. No, these are city rats. They're smart. They know how to go beyond that bin, and I think they know how to open up that bin and go inside and get what they want and come back out. But no, really, these rats are very smart, and they can go beyond that. And I have seen some big rats. There are little ideas. I know at our garden, for example, there are even some types of plants that deter them. But if I was a rat, I'd be hanging around there too. Okay. People throw their garbage out and this and that. They don't cover it. And if I was a rat, I'd be in there too. Okay. Has anybody seen the rat that got a pizza slice? and
Yeah,
he's
please.
bringing it up the stairs and having, well, I'd be doing the same thing, if you're right.
Well, yeah,
You know,
that's accessible.
But the Rat Czar has given some good ideas. I noticed that, I heard, squirrels, where they have squirrels. The squirrel is the family of the rodent, but my understanding is that they bully the rat. You've never seen a rat hanging around a squirrel, right? So there are little things that they do, but rats are always going to be around.
Mhm.
All we're trying to do is to deter them and make them go in another direction. But thank you very much for your
Oh,
presentation.
you're welcome.
And may I make a motion to adjourn the meeting already?
Yeah,
Because I know.
Okay, we just had a.
We're not finished yet.
All
Okay.
business quickly. So it's all business. So right now, I'm trying to do 3 major cleanups throughout the year in consecutive years for like 3 to 4 years, if possible. So right now, we got in contact with some nonprofits, including South Bronx Unite, in order for them to have a specific site. So be Nos Quedamos, we have a site, Ben will have that site, and all these organizations will work with other people in the neighborhood so we could have civic engagement, because a lot of people, they have to be more civic engagement and more education about this stuff. So hopefully we're gonna contact DES and why for educational stuff regarding rats, regarding compost, regarding those things in those 5 sites. But they're gonna be spread out throughout the community district. So in consecutive times, so 3 times a year. And then hopefully it starts improving on this.
Right.
Like people actually get engaged and they say that they're like a lot of times the negativity is actually very oppressive.
Mhm.
So it'd be like it's like bringing some I'm proud of my neighborhood kind of thing.
Right.
So bringing that, hopefully, I know it takes time, but hopefully that builds up and people are proud of the neighborhood, and they'd be like, to be proud, I'm not gonna throw things or litter or whatever. So
Exactly.
that's the idea. So this is coming together. They spoke to a Congresswoman, Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez, and other people as well, for them to provide support. And then those organizations we have their own site. Like here, the bid will focus on the Bergen area here. Those Quedamos in the other area over here. South Bronx tonight, hopefully in the 138 district, 138 business district, in the Bruckner, and other organizations, other places throughout, at the same time on the same day.
Right.
And then as well, like hopefully DCNY and other organizations have educational content there.
Oh,
That you educate everybody at the same time, so the same day.
Yeah.
So that the plan is to have, like I said, 3 times a year. Right now it's being planned.
Mhm.
So we're gonna have a discussion tomorrow with some organizations, and then whoever wants to join in, you could email me, so they could have a discussion there and bring together, and they have this thing because, like I said, a lot of times it's just the negativity. It has a psychological effect, and people just give up and say, I don't care, because somebody else has to take care of that.
Right.
So we have to kind of build that up. That's one of the initiatives of this committee, to do that.
Right.
The rest, the other like that has to do with enforcement, you have to do that. It has to be more enforcement. It has to be more regular basis that you're picking up trash, because I know like I said, 12 to 3 is very clean, and they come in like at 11, and then everything goes to waste or hell or whatever after 6 o'clock in them. And then sometimes I come in at 2 in the morning and I see still a lot of trash piled up in the 138th Street corridor. So it's like, what is happening here? How often do they pick up the stuff?
Right.
And a lot of the things.
These are things that I will relay. I will definitely relay this to the district superintendent, and let him assess what's happening. But it is a busy corridor. I saw that walking all the way over here, and very, very high traffic. So it's something that I'll relay, and they'll assess the area and see how they can improve that. Especially with the baskets, the frequency of collection there.
Okay.
If I can add, Chair, I appreciate that. Again, like I said, our relationship with the superintendent is amazing.
Right.
He does follow up. He is good, but it is the connection to additional resources, especially at request,
Right.
that not from him, but from central and borough operations is where we have to come. So, and it is seriously is an equity issue. Again, no one who travels just only in the Bronx, who travel to other parts of the city and see it's definitely not only education
Mhm.
that, because we have people who, I don't believe everyone wants to dump trash. We have illegal dumpers. We have people come from other parts of the city who are unfortunately
There's people that are
delivering or contributing to that.
getting paid to pick something else somewhere and dump
And
it.
dump it here. We have an unbelievable that happens, and so we are working with our council members and the chair of this committee to pick strategic places where cameras can be placed in areas where there have been active and illegal dumping, so they can help with enforcement and likely other law enforcement. I don't know, prosecution if possible, but the idea of that what's been happening. Unfortunately, it feels deliberate, almost in a way. It's like we generate a lot of garbage, and we're growing as a district, and we're getting a lot of housing. But it's like, how are we? Then, if you know that the district is growing, you don't decrease the resources. You try to figure out about how to expand it on that. And so, while you take that back to the superintendent, I can imagine what he's going to talk about resources.
Because I didn't
outside.
speak to him prior to coming to the meeting. I just wanted to, announce that and take any information, any questions you may have, and of course, I will
Take it back to our senior team.
Absolutely.
Appreciate that. I wanted to also congratulate the chair on the work that he's doing. We also think the good part of that cleaning piece is the Sanitation Foundation is a good partner to want to connect about what the chair is doing to try to provide supplies and resources when you're doing cleaning projects, because we know that the foundation has access to
So
resources.
of course, we do have this like the tool program that if you have enough volunteers, we can then tools, supplies, even pick up a back to bring following the event. With that, of course, is more geared towards spring, summer, winter, weather permitting, we can definitely set something up. But you can reach out to me with something like that if through any association or the community board wants to coordinate something like that. You can definitely.
He's drafting us with something called the Green Corps. There's a
okay.
whole gang of people who's going to wear green community board shirts. That's going to be out
The
there.
other thing that creates is awareness. People see this like, oh, look at that. They have a group cleaning around, especially, hotspots like this. So, that shows awareness too.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chair.
Anybody old business? Nobody else? What about you? Sorry. What's your name again? Sorry. Your name?
Melissa.
Melissa
Elisa?
Bailey.
Elisa Bailey? Can you talk a little bit about
Bosley.
Bosley, I couldn't.
Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah,
your writing is this small, right?
Sorry.
Can we invite him to the football meeting? Because really, he has some vital information that I think, just
We'll talk to the.
just a 5 minute, just talk about what he did there. That will make a.
Our general community board meeting, I think. I think it would be good to give these flyers, we need to give, I guess Stephen will make copies of these,
Yeah,
that
we'll share
our
that.
general
Let's
community
give her,
board.
she was gonna give her.
Yeah, I just wanted to highlight that on October 29th on Tuesday, there's going to be not necessarily a rally, but all these different organizations connected to Community Land Act that's, I think, trying to pass into the city council, if I remember. We're going to have the council member Diana Ayala there. And we're just going to be having a conversation. All these organizations are going to be communicating public land for public good.
Can I have one?
Yeah, sure.
And the South Bronx United is an amazing organization.
Yeah, we'll be there. We Act will be there in Northwest. Yeah, I know. Yeah.
And we're going to make sure we give these out at the community.
Yes, and
board
if you
meeting
can
at
spread
general
the word,
Sure,
please
we'll
do.
take copies.
Yeah,
Thank you
yeah.
so much. Thank you for bringing it. Thank you.
any motion to adjourn?
Okay, I make a motion that we adjourn the
And I
meeting.
second.
All right.
Apple second.
Well, another day fighting rats in New York City.
Yeah.
Good work, everyone.
Okay, everybody, what? Discussion on the motion? No discussion? Meeting adjourned.
Yeah. That was fun.
You accomplished it quick.